And I'm sure that they've had very, very good coaching under Coach Red here. And for
Mhm.
now, it's their first game in the National Campus Open here for AcadArena. I don't think they're going to be risking anything too much. But yes, we have loaded onto the Rift here for De La Salle University Viridis Arcus versus University of the Philippines Diliman Oblation Esports. Let's get right into it. This is going to be our second to the last match for today, and it is going to be quite exciting, especially since you guys know I'm from I'm from UPN, so I'm really expecting a lot from Oblation Esports here.
Yeah. So if you can see the matchup,
Hmm.
for example, for top, it's Silas and Ord, parang pares lang sila eh. As well as for the jungler, both have a really good wave clear, as
Hmm.
well as yung paano sila, I mean yung paano sila ka-healthy sa jungler even
Hmm.
after clearing some waves. And as for Galio naman and sa Veigar,
Veigar, yeah.
I think they're just gonna skill their way out, or at least wait for objectives to happen bago sila mag-fight.
Hmm.
But for bot naman, I'm really looking forward how this both teams, how will they play out sa bot lane, since they have a really good kill potential. Kasi sa
Hmm.
picks nila, they have the Thresh and the other one has a Nautilus. So if ever man mag-path yung junglers nila sa bot side and may naka-advance or something, maybe they can punish
Mm.
each teams.
Init talaga yung bot lane. Especially, I'm expecting Eternal to want to take advantage of Levi wanting to farm it out first. Uh, Sobrang daming mga gank routes na meron ng Rek'Sai here, and if
Yes,
he's
I
able to
agree.
use it here with the Nautilus, it can mean a bad day here for Crit, especially not that he's on Ash, one of the least mobile AD carries out there. But for now, it seems like UPD has the initiative on getting an early level 2 here compared to Disguisa. But still, this is going to be a very action-packed bot lane. Nakikita ko na just from the Nautilus pick. But here comes the Rek'Sai coming in. Can Kai survive this? He's going to flash over there with a knockup, but he's going to get chased down by this Rek'Sai and torn apart. And first blood goes to Eternal.
I actually like how Eternal realized na, hey, Kaito is over pushing na sa say lane, and Rek'Sai was just there to punish him. So one of the winning key kasi ng Rek'Sai is to get a lead sa one of the side lanes, and so far naging successful naman siya doon. So he got a one kill. So potentially mas malakas siya sa Graves in terms of XP and sa pag-build ng items early.
Yeah, and that's
Okay,
what I was
so
talking
waiting
about. But
Rek'Sai.
bot lane, though, oh, that's an easy passage there for Crit. But yeah, that is already Flash actually burned there
Yeah.
for this Nautilus, no? So that's actually big here in terms of what fights UPT can take and what fights DLSU can take as well. So yeah, it's really not in the style of Alto to just stay passive if he's able
Yeah.
to be proactive. And as for DLSU's bot lane here, Apollo, I'm sure he wants to get those kills under his belt since he is the main damage dealer here for DLSU. As for top lane, Kaito, one death shot, but he's still going through. He has the support of Levi. Roxilion does not have flash at this point, but he's just tanky enough to survive until he gets under turret range.
I like how Alto is trying to position there, no? Kasi alam nila na wala silang vision sa
Mhm.
Rek'Sai, so he was just there sa likod ng ADC if ever man may potential gank ng Rek'Sai, and sakto nandun yung Rek'Sai. So it was a really good position from Alto.
Mhm. And so far, being able to burn that flash, even though they were the ones that were being attacked at that point, yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
the positioning there was very good to bail crit out. And in this lane where it's an Ash, you really need to be positioning more carefully as a Thresh since you want to be able to bail them out of trouble. But well, you also have to be very careful to not concede too much ground here, especially against a Nautilus. You still want to be posturing very, very aggressively. Though they have no choice here, they have to back off. They feel that the Eternal's coming around, and it seems like they will concede some ground at this point.
Yeah, like I said earlier, no, si Alto talaga alam niya, nafe-feel niya kung saan yung pagpa-path towards yung Rek'Sai, and he was just there to cancel every time na Rek'Sai would think na this is gankable kasi actually naka-advance sila eh. So Rek'Sai would think that this is gankable, but Alto was just there to fend him off. So
Mhm.
basically, yung time spent ni Rek'Sai sa bot instead na nagpa-farm siya is malaking gap.
Yep.
I mean, sa
Yeah,
Graves in
and
terms of farm. Like, let's take a look at the farm now, no? So medyo two camps ahead yung Graves for that.
yeah, And that's really what Graves wants to be doing, just to reach that level 6 as fast as possible. And
Yes.
this level gap is going to be relevant here coming into this in a Mountain Drake. Of course, both of these teams want to get an early Drake as much as possible. Free, better if it's free. And at this point, Levi's confident that he can take this Mountain Drake uncontested. Nag-back sina Apollo and his support here, and that's the perfect time to get that Mountain Drake. Yan yung pinaka matagal kunin na Drake, and I think taking
Yes.
this opportunity is really smart here by UPD. But top lane, Kaito's gonna get dove here by this Rek'Sai. Lots of damage coming through, but that is going to be Kaito. Kingslayer through, trading 1-for-1 there. And that is going to be a Mountain Drake as well for Oblation Esports. 1-for-1 is pretty meh here, especially since this is a huge wave, no?
Yeah. I like how UPD took the Dragon there kasi alam nila may priority sila sa bot lane and maybe they have information na Rexha is gonna be on top side and they were just there to get that free Drake uncontested. Pero yung sa top lane naman, Eternal siguro didn't expect that damage coming from the tower. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's still a 1-for-1 pero I don't think Ornn can capitalize that gold eh kasi
Mhm.
since he's just a tank siguro gagamitin na yung gold for tank items. So let's
Yeah,
see.
I think that was quite greedy as well. And maybe they didn't juggle the uh, turret aggro as much, but they needed as much damage as they could onto Kaito, especially on a Silas that can heal up damage quite fast. Oh, both junglers going
Okay.
to find each other here, but I don't think they're going to steal the Krug here. But Abscond is going to hit through onto Eternal. Might have dug too deep into the mines, and
Yeah.
Kaito takes away the kill here against Eternal. And that's revenge for earlier.
Yeah. Eternal a little bit of overextended there and lalo na wala siyang flash. So maybe he didn't just expect na Graves would be on the top side and yeah, uh, he was there to get punished lang basically. That's just a walking 300 code for Rex.
Sobrang weird nga na he chose to tunnel
Yeah.
there, no? Since he has information na nandun si Levi thanks to his tremor sense or tremor sight, but uh, and knowing that Kaito was around the corner, it's really questionable that he went for the Krugs there or went to the tunnel there. I mean, you already got an invade onto Raptors. That's already good enough against the Graves. I think he shouldn't have pushed his luck. But at this point, UPD and DLSU quite even still. Mounted Drake probably around like 400 gold in terms of stat value, but it's still even. No, it's still even.
Yeah, kita mo naman yung Rek'Sai is still trying to counter gank race. Pero kaya it's a really bad decision kasi
Mhm.
number one, wala siyang info about Graves. So blindly talagang nagka-counter gank lang siya without any information. Number two, may camps pa siya kanina. So he skipped
Mm.
all that camps just to get that golem sa top lane. Pero he paid for that price. No, so
Mm-hmm.
nawala yung 300 gold basically napunta sa Silas pero nag-paid off naman after niya makuha yung red. I mean, di ko gets paano siya ka-persistent. I mean, what if yung grapes nandun pa rin and wala,
Mm.
baka mapaalis siya eh.
Yeah, and he would have that info, just from
Yeah.
the Rek'Sai passive while he was burrowed. Pero still, this bot lane from
Oh,
DLSU, which is the important lane, I might add, for this game, it's doing quite well. It's like what is this? 2.5 waves ahead here over crit,
yeah.
and it seems like so far, uh, they have not been able to match the kill pressure here from the Nautilus and the Kaisa. Even if they have the enchanted crystal arrow, even if they have Alto by his side, it seems like Crit right now is not confident in pulling the trigger without Levi's help.
Yeah, I think they're getting consistently getting pressured sa Kaisa. I mean, that CS gap, I mean 17 CS gap, that's like
Mm-hmm.
almost 3 waves, I know. So that just shows na malaki talaga yung pressure na ino-omit ng DLSU on bot side.
Mm-hmm. And so far, it's been paying off. Manamune already built
Yeah.
up here for Apollo, and they're just going to continue pressuring in this bot side, as you said. Uh, Drake isn't going to come up just yet, but I'm sure since they're constantly getting priority here, it's not going to be a free Drake here for UPD unless Apollo and not the Nautilus here have bad back timers. But it's just going to be Call of the Forge God actually pulling the trigger here onto Kaito, knowing that this Silas does not have enough mana to fight back, but missing that headbutt there. And sensing that something might be wrong, Levi might be around the corner. He decides to relent.
Yeah, I think God is gonna save his assets for the next objective kasi they don't really have a reason to fight skirmish at this early kasi they know that they're really powerful when it comes to fighting objectives. I mean, that's Ornn, that's Galio, and that's Nautilus for you. They would be easily able to pick up kills if ever man nag-objective sila. Pero kasi with this Ashe naman na I don't think they're gonna pull off a gank sa bot lane. I mean, this is Kai'Sa with cleanse, no? And the only engage they have on bot lane is basically Ashe SS lang and fresh hooks.
And that could easily be cleansed
Yeah.
if you time it right. But here, DLSU gonna get pull the trigger, but the death sentence hits onto Eternal. The front line has been set. Levi has to back off. Death charge is on him here, but he is in the safety of that brush. Rift Herald gets summoned at this point just to apply a little bit of pressure, but this is 5 members of DLSU. Event Horizon comes through. Solace, though, in dangerous ground, but they're not going to pull the trigger on him just yet. This is going to be Proxilion being the front line for his team, looking for a knock-up, getting harassed here by Crit. Let's see if DLSU can get something more out of this, but it seems like they're just going to mamba out here with the Blast Cone. Oh! Okay. I was looking at the dredge line there, but it turns out, oh wait, no, that's from DLSU. But yeah, it seems like nothing too productive happened there. They did burn a lot of summoner spells here on the side of UPD, but this is going to be Eternal. Could get a kill onto Levi. I think that's going to set up the Drake here for the Viridis Arcus Green Archers.
Yeah, I think that's a really bad call kanina sa DLSU. I mean, nag-5-man bot sila but they didn't really take that dragon. I mean, 5 na kayo din eh. Why not take DDR as well, di ba? Medyo questionable lang from that side. Pero they were able to pick naman a kill from Gage na medyo in-underestimate yung burst potential ng Rek'Sai. So, that's a uncontested DR for them.
And yeah, a little bit late on the uptick, but as long as Levi can't interfere with it, I think it's still a free Drake here for DLSU. That bot lane, yeah, was kind of weird. They didn't get anything big out of it. They didn't have a big wave pushing onto top side either to capitalize from the delay. But so far, they do get the Ocean Drake from that. They have built up a small lead just from their bot laner rather. And I think DLSU is just going to be satisfied with that for now, knowing that this Kai'Sa is slowly scaling here.
Yeah, we're 13 minutes on the clock now, and the gold is only very little. I mean, 700 gold, 500 gold. So we'll see how will this pan out now. Kasi Kai'Sa is a very scaling champion. If this gets to mid-late game and his team is able to set a clash here for Kai'Sa, siguro they'll be able to get a lead. Pero we also have to watch out for Veigar. Veigar has a glacial na. I mean that item with
the GLP,
yeah, the GLP. So yeah, sobrang annoying lang kasi ng Veigar when
Crit,
oh my god,
in trouble. What is that flash from Eternal predicting the flash from Crit? Actually, that would have been a smart flash from Eternal if Crit was not easy on the flash there, but that is going to be this Thresh running away out of though, taking a lot of damage. Exhaust onto Eternal means he stops his damage straight. The stun from the Crystal Arrow doesn't hit, but the Event Horizon is enough to lock him down for the damage from Solace. And now Kaito is behind enemy lines, gonna take down this Nautilus, not tanky at all just yet, especially not against magic damage, and that is gonna be 2 kills here on the side of Oblation Esports.
DLSU a bit of overconfident. I mean, they're literally on the side of UPD's camp. I mean, wala nang flash yung Rek'Sai, then he got overextended sa tower, knowing na wala nang flash yung Rek'Sai, and UPD was just there to punish him. So as well as na burn din yung flash.
That's another punish as well.
Yeah.
Onto Levi trying to invade. But I just want to say, that was not a weird flash from Eternal. I think that was Crit predicting Eternal to predict him to flash, and so he saved the flash and flashed after Eternal did it. That's some 300 IQ there coming in from Crit, but still, Levi giving a kill over for free to DLSU means that this is still pretty much a stalemate. Medyo even pa rin yung game, and DLSU though building up a solid lead onto Apollo. Basically, this 800 gold lead is misleading. If we look at yung main damage dealers on DLSU, it's going to be concentrated in the Eternal and Apollo, which is where they want
Mm.
the gold to be. So there's actually more. This gold lead is actually more than meets the eye.
Yeah, it's actually turning out great for the Leslie kasi they do want Kai'Sa to have all the gold leads kasi because
Mhm.
Kai'Sa is their main damage dealer. So I think fairly naman in the mid or late game Kai'Sa is gonna pop off, and I'm really curious how UPD is gonna handle this Kai'Sa also
Yeah.
with that cleanse.
It's gonna be very hard to lock down here, but DLSU here gonna try and contest this Rift Herald. They are 5 men strong. That's gonna be the call of the Forge Guard called onto this Kaito, and he's gonna fall down. That is gonna be Solace though, almost taking kill. Actually, taking kill here against Eternal, combined with Levi's collateral damage, and that is gonna be a 1-for-1 jungler for top laner. And with Rift Herald getting contested, I think that's a win here for UPD, canceling uh, DLSU's attempts at trying to
Mhm.
disrupt that, but DLSU able to stop the referral for now.
Yeah, UPD wasn't really in an optimal. Oh,
Oh, that's gonna be
okay.
a big taunt onto Crit out of position, and this is gonna be Alto on the chopping block as well. But he is able to flash out. That hook actually hits right hitbox. Hello. But it doesn't really amount to anything as DLSU is just poised to take down this top turret. And this is 2-0 on the turrets right now with DLSU controlling the pace of the game so far.
Yeah. I mean, UPD wasn't really in an optimal position there. I mean, Crit and Otto was still clearing the top wave side. So, I mean, medyo malayo kasi yung gap nila I mean,
Mhm.
from RH to top, and they weren't able to respond quickly. So, Delcy was just there to punish them na, hey, yung Ash and Thresh na sa top, so we should engage this. So,
Mhm.
that's basically what happened. Kung bakit sila, they were able to take the tier 1 tower as well as getting so much farm for Kaisa. I mean,
Yeah,
Kaisa is now towards pag
32.
Ginsu Rage Brig na and have 300 bounty. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was very Crit's positioning there was very weird.
Yeah.
Like he started clearing the wave while he was behind it, but it is gonna be UPD pulling the trigger here. Maybe try and get their first turret of the game. This mid lane turret will open up the map for them, and that is gonna be super important here. And this kind of team that wants to play around these rotations, Cloud Break as well, is super important for both of these teams. Call of the Forge God, Depth Charge, Heroes Entrance, all of these will just be enhanced by this Cloud Break. It's going to be hotly contested. Call of the Forge God comes through. Alto taking a lot of damage, but Eternal gets taken down. Then that's going to be UPD turning the fight in their favor. Crit takes down the Nautilus. Duckman has to face off against Levi, and the rest of DLSU are scattered. The Archers, the Arcus team, have been destroyed. 4 kills to 0 on the side of the UPD, and they finally get the big break that they need in this game.
Yeah, that's actually 4-4-0, which is really a good trade for UPD. I mean, we were talking about kanina, di ba, how ay kung sinong teams yung makapag-utilize ng composition nila. And UPD this time, this Dragon fight, were able to fully utilize their composition. I mean, Gaia there, yung SS niya hindi pa online and medyo napalayo yung Rek'Sai, so he got bursted. So that's basically why nakuha ng UPD yung break.
Yeah, and that's really the strength here for UPD. Since their damage is dispersed or well distributed across the comps, if they focus on one target, they're going to die. Especially
Yeah.
with Solace on this Vagar. And that kind of concentrated fire, I don't think DLSU, even their, especially the Eternal, no, since he's building full into the tank, not the tank, into the damage, no,
Mm-hmm.
is going to feel that pain. And earlier, he got a lot of kills, right? Well, he got a lot of
Yeah.
impactful ganks, but now he's 2-5-2, suffering a lot for UPD's aggression.
Yeah, when you're 2-5-2, I don't really recommend na mag-build pa ng lethality for this kasi number one, hindi ka na naka on par with the gold. I mean, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of gold, is really behind compared to Graves. No, Graves has a Black River now when uh, Rek'Sai papunta pala sa edge of the night. So, and we really have to watch for Silas, Graves, and Veigar's, ano na, there's really scaling na. They have a lot of items while yung Ornn, Rek'Sai and Galio doesn't really have that much of an item. I mean, totally magre-rely lang sila sa Kai'Sa. So, let's see how Kai'Sa if he's able to try to carry this team away
Yeah,
against UPD. Let's
I
see.
think yung way line of thinking dito in Eternal is still building into this lethality is
maybe he
Wala
has to
silang
take it.
choice. Like, wala siyang choice. If he pivots into tank now, Apollo will be the only damage dealer. And at that point, if Apollo goes down, and it's very easy for Apollo to go down with Kaito stealing these engage ultis, Solace going for a huge event horizon into burst damage. I don't think. I think DLSU is banking on Eternal still being able to deal enough damage to clean up after Apollo, if Apollo dies.
Yeah, basically kasi that's their top position eh. I mean, after nila mag-pick ng composition with only Kaisa, their main damage dealer, they would really have to rely with Kaisa. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Rek'Sai doesn't really do damage output in the middle or late game kasi I mean, you have Veigar to peel Ash or you have Thresh to peel his teammates. I mean, unless you have a flash, then you won't really be able to pick up a kill.
Mm-hmm. So right now it's very, very tough here for DLSU, even though it
Yeah.
looked pretty well for them. And Apollo is still very well ahead of Crit at this point. 300, 191 CS so far. They just need to keep him alive. And that's basically just the role here for Proxilion and Duckman is to keep him alive at this point. As for UPD, they have a little bit more of a margin of error, no?
Mhm.
Uh, Even if Crit falls down, the rest of the UPD squad can pick up the pace here, especially Kaito 4, 3, and 2 on this Silas. Is actually gonna be quite painful, even if he takes like uh, the tanks' ultis. These are still going to scale off of his ability power. So it's really, really tough here coming in from DLSU. And all UPD really needs to do at this point is to continue pressuring DLSU. Wait for the next Drake, contest it, make sure they're not able to take down this Baron in the meantime, and just have complete vision around the important objectives.
Yeah, DLSU were able to display a vision control dito ano, and
Mm-hmm.
the map pressure as well kasi for the past team fights, they have been winning so far. Pero let's see, tignan mo yung Veigar right now. No? Veigar is getting really scary. I mean, we're 20 minutes on the game and the Veigar is 205 and it's been stacking a lot of AP so far. So if they were able to shut down Kaisa at this rate, then I think this is the end for
Ooh, they're
DLSU.
pulling the trigger on Baron here, but they are gonna get
Oh,
found out here
I think that's
by the
not gonna
Farseer.
happen. I
Actually,
mean, it's too early for them.
yeah, it's too early. 22 minutes. Apollo only has
Yeah, yeah.
Manamune and Ginsu. Ngayon lang siya nagkaroon ng Muramana.
And
That's
they
their
only
only
have
damage.
Kaisa for their DPS.
Yeah. So a lot of
I
thinking is,
don't get what
were they
they're
trying to
thinking.
pull UPD? Like looking at the minimap, uh, were they trying to pull UPD to try and turn? Or I don't think there was anything else there. But no,
I
they're
don't
actually
think.
pulling the trigger onto
Oh,
Baron. This is a hard commit onto Baron, knowing that Levi might be on the other side of the map. But like you said, yeah, Vansu, it's way too early. They're taking too
yeah.
much damage here.
Yeah, I really don't get what they're thinking. Kasi we're only 23 minutes in the game and your main damage is only Kaisa. And they are not really in a position to turn eh. Kasi medyo squishy pa sila. Actually, medyo napasama pa yung call nila doon.
But they're still gonna
Because,
pull the trigger
yeah,
onto this fight here around the opening of this jungle. Lots of AoE damage. Kaito's gonna go down, shut down actually, but Solace is racking up these kills, controlling this area. He's playing objective denial here with that Event Horizon. Proxilion still acting as a frontline for his team. Crit is just slowly whittling down here while Levi's blasting a hole off open with a shotgun. And that is going to be Apollo getting a shutdown, but he is now being chased down by Levi and Crit, but I don't think they have the tools to chase him down. This is going to be 4 for 3 in favor of UPD.
yeah. So I was saying earlier, I don't really get what they're thinking. Also kasi palapit na yung Drake eh. Drake is almost about to spawn. Tapos nandun pa lang sa BR side. So I don't get really what they're trying to accomplish there. So medyo bad decision lang for DLSU. But I think naman nakapag-trade sila ng well for Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kaisa was able to pick up a few kills there. And I mean, the hope is still
Yeah.
alive for Kaisa.
5-0 and
Maybe he
1.
was able to deal damage on the mid or the late game. So
Yeah. 4-0 and 1 and 200 almost 240 CS compared to the 25-minute
yeah,
timer here on our game. That's actually pretty well considering that a lot of action has been happening in bot lane across the map actually. That means Apollo has been keeping up in the gold curve and but that's the thing. If the rest of DLSU is not able to supplement that
hmm,
their only damage dealer, UPD can just sacrifice a few of their pieces here We saw earlier, namatay si Crit, namatay si Kaito, pero nakapaglinis pa rin sina Levi and Soles.
I think DLSU realizes na that Kaisa is their only hope. Parang yung Galio, yung Orn, yung Rek'Sai was just there to set up for Kaisa basically kasi yun na talaga yung main damage dealer. So it would parang magkakatalo na talaga for how both teams paano sila mag give ng skill shots or paano sila mag-initiate ng fight or how are they gonna plan it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the planning, because DLSU nga has a smaller margin of error, no?
Yeah.
They have more opportunities to screw this up. And that's why they need to plan this way, way better here. But it seems like they're gonna pull the trigger onto Crit at this point. Death Charge even expended for this mid lane, but they're not gonna be able to take him out. That's one big ultimate down here for DLSU. I don't think they can start dancing around Baron without this depth charge. The threat of UPD coming down on them is just too big. They all have their ultimates, except for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is actually big, but um, I'm pretty sure the cooldown on that is faster on the depth charge at this point.
Oh,
And Horizon, Eternal, a little bit of trouble here, but I think he's just going to calm down. Don't let that escalate. And at this point, Kaito's just pushing the side lane here. And I think Proxilion should be trying to contest that as well.
yeah, I think both teams are just trying to pressure each other. They both really knew well na the next Drake is gonna be the Soul Drake, and they don't want to give that to UPD kasi this is the Soul Drake deal. The Soul Drake will give so much potential sa mga team fights for UPD, and they don't want to give it to them. So basically, nag-set up na silang wards, try to pressure across the map, and try to map pressure.
Yeah, this Cloud Drake is uh, giving UPD so much more leeway, no? Like with a team that has a few very important ultimates, notably in Chat Crystal Arrow, yung Primordial Burst ni Solis for that huge burst and Altos in the box. And denying that same Cloud Drake to DLSU, that's actually huge. If they get fourth Drake here, third charge yan ng Cloud Drake, that's gonna give their ultimates so much CDR, and that's why yung dinidescribe ko sa Cloud Drake, it's a strategic Drake because it gives
Yes.
you more options in terms of how you play just because of how much CDR for your ultis it gives you.
I think UPD's win condition for now is first kailangan nila malaman na yung flash ni
Mm-hmm.
Kaisa doesn't come online for the next Drake contest. So they do have to know that knowledge kasi if they were able to shut down Kaisa at this point and maybe they're gonna potentially secure the Baron and Soul Point. So basically that's gonna be their win
Yeah.
condition.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure UPD here is tracking those flash timers. The cleanse timer, I think, is also very important here. But with the fourth
Yeah.
Drake coming up,
Or
this is
Drake
going to
now.
be a big, big fight for this team. This is going to be a turning point. The gold is dead even. The Drakes are the deciding factor. The comps right now are in the favor of UPD. Teleport coming in. They are marching down the river to try and take to the skies and take this Cloud Drake with this team fight. A few death sentences coming out. They are going to start the Drake. Take that aggro. Levi taking a lot of damage. Call the Forge God is going to be coming down. The Event Horizon giving them a lot of area denial. Hero's Entrance is not enough to save Eternal. And this is going to be UPD with a very, very solid front line coming through. Death Sentence hits onto the target. And this is going to be the front line of DLSU trying to make space here for Apollo. He's still full health. He gets exhausted. He's going to fall down here as UPD takes him out. And Proxilion 1v1 with a shotgun is not going to be enough. And it is going to be UPD not only winning that fight with an ace, they even abandon the Cloud Drake and just go straight to the Baron. Actually, no, they left Solace there to finish the Drake. This is going to be basically a full house here for UPD. They get the ace, they get the Drake and the Soul, and they get Baron.
Yeah, so that's basically what I'm saying here. If only they were able to shut down Gaza, which they did, no?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they have Baron and Soul Point at their pockets, no? So it's gonna be really hard for DLSU to come back at this point, knowing na kaya sila talaga damage dealer niya. And I think Orn, Rek'Sai, and Galio is not that relevant anymore. Kasi if you come to think of it, yung item ng Graves, item ng
Mm-hmm.
Vigar, look at that item, that Rabadon 17 stacks Magi, that stopwatch. I think who's gonna stop
Parang di na sila
Veigar,
tag.
di ba?
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean,
that Black Cleaver and everything.
potentially, Veigar can one combo Kaisa,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, with
Yeah.
that item.
Yeah, if his
I don't
cleanse is
think this is
down
gonna
and he
turn
gets caught
out
by
good.
Event Horizon, that's a dead Kaisa. And
I
Apollo
think
will
this is
fall
gonna turn
down.
out good for DLSU. But let's see, no? I mean, my hope pa rin naman DLSU. I mean, if there are choke points, then maybe nandun sila para i-punish yung UPD. But UPD here now is trying to pressure across the map. No, they were trying to pressure in top side. They knew that they have a Baron buff. They knew that they had to make a Baron play, and there they are trying to push the tier two
6K
tower
gold ahead.
top. Yeah,
And
that's
this is
big
very
goal.
comfortable here for UPD, knowing that they're the comp that has more well distributed DPS. They are able to comfortably just tear down these turrets, and their formation is much more flexible. With DLSU, you have one formation, which is
I think UPD is
have a
gonna
front line for
is gonna
Apollo.
give that tier three tower.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think that's a really
I
bad
think
call for
inhibitor
Kaisa.
even,
He
maybe even
prioritized
Nexus.
that red. I don't get why he actually prioritized that red for that inhibitor trade. I mean, I get it. As a Kaisa, you can scale in more in the game, pero your opponent here is actually Veigar who scales a lot more compared sa mga DLSU picks ng DLSU.
Hmm.
I mean, that red buff, was it even worth it? Hindi ko
Yeah,
talaga.
that's really the question now. Like, but also the question is if they had tried to pull the trigger there,
Yeah.
maybe the question is okay, we're gonna give up the inhibitor, we're gonna have Apollo farm red buff, because I think if we try to fight and defend inhibitor, we just lose. I think that might be the line of
Mm.
thinking for Viridis Arcus, but still, it's like they have no choice right now. UPD gonna take the second inhibitor without any problems. They still have basically the rest of the Baron buff to work with, pero the bot lane's really what's gating them right now. DLSU, since they did a good job defending their bot lane early, it's actually still very healthy. But still, that's two inhibitors down, and DLSU will be feeling the pressure here, especially with these three Cloud Drakes in the hands of UPD and
Yeah.
Soul as well.
Siguro the LSU realizes by now that they can't really defend their inhibitor, so that's why they just gave it out. Kasi nakita mo naman, no, if you're thinking about the composition of the LSU, they don't really have a wave clear aside from Kaisa. So imagine mo, Kaisa's trying to wave clear in front of Veigar. I mean, that's not gonna happen. So I think as long as UPD has the Baron power play here, they'll get as much as towers as they can get. Kasi they're basically free with
Mhm.
this current situation, that gold, that item, that composition. That's not gonna happen for DLSU. They're not be
Oh,
able
this
to
could be
defend.
the ticket for DLSU. They get an immediate shutdown out to Solace with a Death Brush. Hero's entrance goes in as well. Actually, from Kaito to just to zone out DLSU, but still, they're still going for it. Crit gets the kill onto Eternal. Can they make enough space for Apollo at this point? That is going to be Crit going down as well. This could be the chance for DLSU, but Apollo is low. He's being chased away. Alto is chasing him down together with this Graves. He's weaving in and out of the fight, and the shutdown goes to Kaito. And at this point, DLSU no longer has damage, and with Levi just hitting, critting, smashing through DLSU at this point, it's over. It's
Yeah.
over with only Proxilian left to defend.
Yeah, I really like how Rek'Sai would able to pull off that kind of kills of Veigar. This is actually the second death of Veigar na he wasn't
Mhm.
able to click that stopwatch. No, hindi ko alam. Maybe he hasn't realized na actually may stopwatch. Oh,
Oh, Solace though. Maybe giving another
oh my
kill,
God,
but
that
oh
burst
my
damage.
god, the burst! Yun yeah. The burst from the Vagar is
Yeah,
just too much. Event Horizon to lock down Proxy, and I think that is going to be DLSU with
that's
a
it.
valiant last effort. They didn't go out with a sputter. They went out with a bang this game, trying to cut the throat of UPD. But in the end, Oblation Esports powers through, and they are able to get this first win in their first game in the National Campus Open.
Yeah, I think kasi one fault ng DLSU here kasi masyado silang nag-revolve sa
Mhm.
Kaisa, and ano sobrang dami din margin of error na nakamit ang DLSU,
Mhm.
and UPD was just there to punish it. Alam nila na, hey, Kaisa lang yung damage dealer natin, and yeah, we have to take it down talaga, na we have at all costs focus that Kaisa, and nagawa naman nila. After nila mapatay yung Kai'Sa, they were able to get that Soul Drake, that Baron, and that's just over. Tapos na talaga sa kanila eh.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
was
I
just
think
gonna say kanina na DLSU would buy more time nung namatay yung Bigger, pero that's not just the case. I mean, 'pag na-realize mo, sobrang laki na pala talaga ng gap ng UPD sa DLSU.
mhm.
So after talaga ng Baron back, that's it.
I really think that they weren't able to fully. I mean, they were able to shepherd Apollo and well enough, but they weren't able to enable him to the point. And I think it's an error in drafting. It's putting all your eggs in one basket, and when it cracks, when they all crack, it's over. But that's just the first game of this group stage. Napaka-cutthroat ng group stage natin. Isang team out of
Yeah.
4 teams and 4 groups, one team in each group will be making it to playoffs to represent to fight for the slot to represent the Philippines in IEF 2020. But of course, that is going to be our second to the last game. Let's announce our winner for our virtual Hangouts chat rally. The winner of 300 pesos worth of Garena shells is going to be J Lance Lawrence Lorete. So just wait for the admins. Actually, you can contact the page as well, and they will give you the details on how to claim your prize. And of course, you guys can join in on the chat rally as well on our final game later, which is going to be the University of San Agustin Golden Eagles versus Holy Angel University Archangels Black. So watch out for that. We have been your shoutcasters for this fifth game. I'm Hiron. With me is Vance, who will be seeing you with How Black versus USA after a short break.